welcome to the XFL show. JP here with you alongside former NFL coach Kay Stevenson. We have a breakdown of everything XFL. Tremendous week 3, coach, when we look at it. Of course, Oliver Luck coming on with us at 12:40. Going to be a lot of fun here on the XFL show, but coach, week 3. I mean, we've seen the XFL. This is the 3rd week now. We're starting to get a feel for some of these teams, or so we thought. We'll go over the games here. Of course, I want to start, coach. Couple things. The Houston Roughnecks, they have been one of the hottest teams in the XFL.
Yes, they have.
They had P.J. Walker, Cam Phillips. Those guys have been phenomenal. The Tampa Bay Vipers. So the Vipers have kind of been the sad song here, if you want to talk about the XFL. Not what we thought they were going to be. Of course, Caesars Sportsbook thought that they were a favorite. They haven't played that way. Murray has not done very well. Quarterback Taylor Cornelius comes in, and they just missing some of that offense. Well, Coach, watching this Houston Roughnecks team, you thought they were going to blow out the Vipers. Well, Coach, Tampa Bay, 34-27, Houston won.
Hey, good ball game. They played them well. Now, one thing that, as I said before, Jerry Glanville put just enough lid on that run and shoot that kept them in the ball game, and I think Tampa played up for this game and give them credit. Kudos there.
With Tampa Bay, real quick, a difference here for them when you look at offensively. They handed the majority of the playing calling duties over to offensive coordinator Jamie Elizondo, and it kind of paid off. You saw a different Vipers team there, but it wasn't enough. Regardless, though, I think it's very important for a team like the Vipers to step up and do what they did this past week, because this XFL, you never know what you're going to get. Moving on, Coach, I know the Dallas Renegades, Bob Stoops, Landry Jones, they're supposed to be the face of the XFL. Well, they did exactly kind of what we thought they would do. The Seattle Dragons, of course, the support they have in Seattle fans, no matter what, whether it's soccer, football, baseball, they always show up. But it was too much for the Dragons. And, Coach, I ask you here, Landry Jones, seeing him now week 2, he got his feet wet last week. He struggled a little bit in the first half, came back, was pretty dominant. What did you see out of him in this game?
As I said last week, I like Landry Jones. I think it was important for Dallas to get him back in the lineup. Certainly not playing that first week hurt him as a football team. But Landry Jones is a good quarterback, and he will give some excellent play throughout the rest of the league. I think you can pretty much count on that based on health, that he's healthy and doesn't get hurt. But they've really got a real plus in Landry Jones, and also their coaching staff, I think, they do a very good job. I like the way they mix the offensive game plan, the strategy involved there. They get down the field with the football, and they play the keep the chains moving game as well. So they're capable of playing both. They do a good job audibilizing to the run when they get especially when they get what looks like a 6-man box. They do a great job of moving to the run. 6-man box based on down and distance. They're going to run the football on you now, and even with the mad scientist as their offensive coordinator, and but they're quite a treat to watch. I enjoy watching them. I think they're a quality football team and should serve the XFL extremely well.
Yeah, Coach Hal Mummy and that towel, the mad scientist, you got to love it. They're doing a great job there. Of course, the first week losing to the Battlehawks, they didn't have Landry Jones. With Landry Jones, you see why that offense and everything starts to tick now. That's their guy. Of course, Landry Jones was 30 of 41 for 274 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The big player there, a guy that's under the radar, I think he's 6'8" or 6'9", Donald Parham, the tight end, 5 receptions for 101 yards, 2 touchdowns. And they have the running game. Cameron Artis-Payne, former Auburn guy there, running the football for 13 attempts, 80 yards. Just too much for Seattle. Seattle's a good football team. Brandon Silver's, of course, the quarterback there, a hometown, Pensacola, Florida. Went 21 of 34 for 204 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Nonetheless, that Renegades team is going to be as good as advertised when we talk about it. Coach, moving on, the St. Louis Battlehawks and the New York Guardians. The Battlehawks, this has been a sneaky team. They were predicted, of course, in the beginning, whatever that means, to be the worst team in the XFL. This is a fun team to watch. When you talk about Jordan Ta'amu, a guy at Ole Miss, he was 12 of 18 for 119 yards. It's his ability to be a dual-threat player for them in that offense. They want to run the football in that offense. Matt Jones, 15 attempts, 95 yards for a touchdown. This is a guy that is dominant. I mean, it really, when you look at the running game, we don't see a whole lot of the running game in the XFL. When you talk about over 50% run, this team knows how to do it. They're fun to watch. And for the New York Guardians, Coach, quarterback woes continue. They've got to find something offensively to get them going. And you see right there, the Guardians, why you need a good quarterback.
Yeah, I'll tell you, most disappointing team in the league. I think after the first week, you and I were talking about it, and we said New York may be one of the top 2 teams in the league. Well, we may have to change. We certainly have to change our opinion now, and it's largely based on the quarterback position. Listen, I'll just tell you that I think they got to go with another quarterback. They can't continue to play the guy who is an obvious disruption to their football team, because they look disjointed right now. They don't look like they look like they don't know whether they're fish or fowl. They don't have an identity. And then he goes out hurt the rest of the game. I'll tell you, I just have a real bad feeling about that guy. I know why he's not in the other league too. So anyway, I think New York's got some quality football players. They got to get that quarterback situation squared away.
Yeah, Matt McGloin, I don't know. Look, Luis Perez is a guy that played some Division II football. He's a good-looking kid. Interesting to see what they're going to do with the Guardians. The DC Defenders, I think the last game here on Sunday, boy, I won't say it was a good one. It was interesting here. The LA Wildcats coming up, making a statement, beating the, favorite DC Defenders right now, 39-9. Cardale Jones, 13-26 for 103 yards through 4 interceptions. The defense for the Wildcats, they came out firing. I mean, they had the perfect game plan against Cardale Jones. Cardale has looked up to par. I mean, when you talk about one of the best quarterbacks in the XFL, he's exactly what we hoped he was going to be. Not his game against the Wildcats, but hats off to the Wildcats. They jumped all over the defenders early, and they just did not let up. When I saw the score, of course, watching the game, you were like, okay, we see teams do this, and then we see teams relent. And, they didn't. They didn't let up. Josh Johnson, the quarterback for the Wildcats, 18-25 for 278 yards, 3 touchdowns. This was just a fantastic performance for the Wildcats and Coach Winston Moss. They needed this, Coach.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree with you more. Listen, I was extremely pleased with the coaching effort there. It was obvious to me that Winston Moss and his staff did an excellent job of preparing that football team and creating the excitement that they had as a football team. So, anyway, hats off to them. Big win.
Absolutely. Another great week in the XFL. Listen, we're going to go to a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to have the commissioner of the XFL, Oliver Luck, on with us, and what a treat it's going to be. You're not going to want to miss it. It's the XFL show here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
There's only one place in town for the lowest prices and greatest selection of firearms. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Visit our fully stocked Gun Pro Shop for new and used firearms, accessories, and ammunition. Check out the Indoor Shooting Range. We offer rentals on guns, including fully automatic machine guns and silencers. Ladies, this is the safe place to learn how to use a gun. Plus, Tuesday is Ladies' Day. Women shoot for half price all day. The best place to buy firearms in Pensacola. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Highway 29 in Car City.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-285-4954. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-285-4954. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-285-4954. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-285-4954. 800-285-4954.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back to the XFL show. JP here with you alongside former NFL coach Kay Stevenson. Coach, our special guest here needs no introduction, but listen, the commissioner of the XFL, we are so happy he joins us, and what a product that he has helped put out. I mean, the XFL is just absolutely phenomenal. As a football fan, I'm so excited. But, Coach, I'm going to let you take the reins here.
You bet. Well, we couldn't say how much we really appreciate it, Commissioner, you coming on for a few minutes with us on one of these inaugural XFL Insider programs that we're doing. And again, kudos. It's been an excellent product that you put out there, but this is not unexpected. Our audience, I think, very familiar with your background in the WFL as a first before that as a player, NFL quarterback, and then in the WFL in Europe, and what you sustained over there, put together and stayed with, and then as the athletic director at West Virginia, many other efforts, and we just appreciate you coming on. And what I'm going to do is ask you to give us the commissioner's State of the Union right now of your league.
A State of the Union address. Well, I'll keep it short and sweet, but first of all, thanks for having me on. It's great to be with you all. So, we just completed our third week of play, and I think, all in all, we're pleased with where we are. These are brand new teams that really didn't start working out together, training together until the beginning of December. So they had a good 2.5 months of preparation time as we went into the season, but teams are still sort of finding themselves. We thought after week 2 that the DC team was maybe the strongest in our league. Well, they went out to LA and got spanked by the LA Wildcats, who scored a bunch of points. Josh Johnson, longtime NFL quarterback, just all of a sudden found his groove. So that's sort of fun because, these teams, again, are still just in the process of sort of finding themselves, what they do well, what they have to work on, what they have to improve, who the go-to receiver may be, or the running back or whatever. So all in all, I think we've played good quality football. Our television ratings have been solid, and we're really blessed to have two great broadcast partners, Fox and Disney. I mean, arguably two of the most powerful media companies in the country. So, we're not resting on our laurels at all. We have a lot of work to continue to do. The best thing that we probably have been able to do, right? The best thing, I think, is affordability for fans. So I was in St. Louis yesterday. The Battlehawks had, what was a really strong performance. 30,000 people in St. Louis attended that game. And, the average ticket price for one of the bottom ticket price for one of our games is $20. So you can bring a family of 4, have good seats, sit in the lower bowl, and watch, 3 hours of professional football. That's great. We all lament sometimes how expensive it's gotten, to attend, big college games or an NFL game. So this is really satisfying to see, people that don't have to, give up a car mortgage or, a car payment or a house mortgage, to attend a football game. So the quality's been good. Our coaching's been good. There have been some great moments. We had a kick return, taken back for a touchdown yesterday in the St. Louis game against New York. That was really fun to see. And a lot of our innovations, we now have enough data points, even though it's early in the season, we got enough data points, to say that, hey, our kickoff is working. We have, well over 95% of our kickoffs are returned. And, that's absurd when you think the NFL, 75% of the kicks are kicked into the end zone as a touchback. Nothing happens. So we're pretty pleased with where we are at this point. But, again, we got a lot of work to do still.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more on exactly what you've gone over, Oliver. Let me say this personal observation, and from what I've heard from other people, and I've talked to a number of NFL people as well, who have scouts and administrators who think that this is a very good product. They understand and admit totally that there's a market for football in the spring. And I think your first 3 weeks have been above and beyond, and there's a lot more to go. But let me say this: your rules changes. Many thought we're going to be prostituting to a certain extent the game of football. They're not. We've tried to explain to people, for example, the kickoff on the kickoff. In order to minimize these 45-yard collisions, you're simply doing what near the end of the season, from mid-season on in the NFL. That's what we do in practice. We still get our assignments in order, and the blocking lane, the coverage lanes and so on, are adhered to, and you get a chance to get all that established without having kids run 45 yards down. And invariably, even if you're just thud tempo, you get somebody nicked doing that. So I think that's working out extremely well. I agree with it totally. And the extra points, you don't want to know where I was going with the kicking game. My thought was do away with the kicking game totally. The most boring plays in football, when you went to the refrigerator, were extra points and short field goals.
That's right. No, you're absolutely right. We, in our mind, we called those plays meaningless plays, and they're effectively, all the plays in the National Football League that are untimed downs. A kickoff into the end zone.
Yeah,
that's not timed. It's considered a play, but nothing happens of any value to a fan, and that's true. Of the extra points. Even after the league, moved the extra point back, it still has about a 95% conversion rate. That's a done deal. That's a fait accompli. That's when you get up, as you say, Kay, and you get a soda pop out of the refrigerator or whatever. It's also an untimed down. So we wanted to remove as many meaningless plays as we could. And that's why we had the kickoff, and it's safer, and that's obviously important as well. But that's really the genesis behind changing the extra point. Let's make that play matter again. And we've had 3 weeks of data points now. It's harder to score from the 5 than a lot of people thought. Because you really can't run it. You got to throw it. But we've had a couple of teams go for 3. From the 10-yard line, and a couple have made it. So, our coaches are working, all different angles to kind of come up with a, system of what works for them.
Yeah, you wait till they get all those analytics involved in it. It'll really be something there. But I think it's a good move, and I like it. The play Saturday and yesterday, I thought was an enhanced offensive product for the most part. Of course, one of the things that you and we all realize is that, to a great extent, the success of the league depends on the quarterbacking. That's what people look at. That's what they associate with. That's what they keep their eyes on the entire football game. So as time goes on, the quarterback play will improve, and you'll have some other people. I'm certain now you're going to have some quality people coming into that league to give experience and or a competition to the people that are there now.
Well, that's an interesting point. And of course, Kay, with your background coaching quarterbacks for so many years, you would immediately understand this. The guy who's probably playing the best for us as a kid, Philip Walker from Temple. And he spent 2 years on the Colts practice squad roster. In fact, my son Andrew, tipped me off to Philip Walker, PJ Walker as he calls himself, because Andrew thought he would be perfect for our league, particularly in an offense like June, where it's a quick run and shoot, one read kind of a thing. So, our argument to PJ was, PJ, you've been in the practice squad for 2 years. You're going to get kicked out of the league, because you don't get any better being on the practice squad. The only way to get better is to play football and play in real games with good players on your team and playing against good competition. So, think of how many players there are like Philip Walker, like PJ Walker right now on NFL practice squads who've been on there for a year, maybe 2 years. You're running plays off of cards. You're not getting any better. So I think as we go into our second season, we'll have a much stronger argument, right? And those guys are talented. They were all college all-stars, really. PJ set all the records at Temple. Jordan Teamu, who's playing for the St. Louis team, he was the Ole Miss guy. He's in the same boat. This is a great 10-game experience for him, and then he can use it to kind of give himself a better platform. So once this season is completed, I think we have a really strong argument, about additional practice, because virtually every one of the 32 NFL teams has a quarterback on the practice squad, right? That's what you do. You put one quarterback in your group of 10 on the practice squad, and he's the guy who's running all the cards, mimicking the opposing quarterback for that week. But you don't get any better, and that's what these guys want. They're football players. They want to improve.
Well, that's for sure. And there are going to be some college quarterbacks that are rated in that make it category that are going to slide down the draft list, and you never know what could happen there too. Somebody could,
that's right.
Good opportunity.
I mean, the combine and ranking guys, it's an art and not a science. And guys are missed. I think the NFL scouts, by and large, do an unbelievable job. But there's always guys that slip through the cracks, small school guys. The other guy who had a great game, this is a different sort of profile of a player, but the other guy who had a great game yesterday out in L.A., playing for Norm Chow, who's calling the offensive plays out there, is Josh Johnson, who has been, I think, with maybe 10 or 11 or 12 NFL teams over the course of his 10, 11-year career. Came out of the USD, University of San Diego, played for Jim Harbaugh there.
Yeah.
Harbaugh was just starting his coaching career, but, he's a guy who's got a ton of experience, and for whatever reason was never able to sort of stick, for a long time as a backup in the National Football League. But he's playing, he's a 32-year-old guy, but he's playing like a 22-year-old guy. So there's everybody's got a different story, particularly at the quarterback position. Our goal is to get the 8 best quarterbacks we possibly can, for each one of our teams, which really means you got to get about 16 good quarterbacks and let them battle.
Yeah, you're right. One and overall, I can't say enough positive about the league and what you've done and what all of you have done in putting everything together. After the first week, we did a little rundown here, and I thought New York looked like a good, sound, solid football team going into a new venture like this. I'm a little disappointed in what has happened in New York, primarily because of the quarterback there, Oliver, Matt McClellan. I just wonder, I wonder if he's if he's got the right idea. But other than that, I think. Yeah.
It's interesting because, Matt sort of fits in that, category with guys like Josh Johnson, who've, played, started, and won, NFL game. Matt won a playoff game, for the Raiders. So, Landry Jones is in that category. These are all guys who, have had fairly significant experience, playing in the National Football League.
Sure.
So it's somewhat surprising because Landry's playing pretty well. Josh is playing pretty well. They both missed their opening game for their respective teams. But Matt looked great week one, and then he's really struggled. But it's not just Matt. The whole team has struggled. Their offensive line hasn't played well. They don't seem to have sort of a go-to, guy on a 3rd and 6 when you got to make that catch, right? And it's going to be tight. But as I had said early on, I think teams are still now just sort of finding themselves in terms of what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. There's still a long way to go. This is a 10-game regular season. You win 6 games, you probably are going to make the playoffs. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we have a 5-win team, in one of our playoffs, because half of the league, 4 out of our 8 teams make the semifinals. So right. We'll see how it plays out. I still am not quite sure that we've seen the real New York team at this point.
Well, I would agree. And overall, again, congratulations on an outstanding job, and I know it's going to continue to improve, and we're gonna look forward to being here with your guys every week, Oliver. And listen, I'm going to thank you again for coming on, and we'd like to hear from you from time to time. Our listeners, I'm sure, would be very appreciative.
Well, yeah, thank you. Anytime I, as you know, love the game and love talking football with an old coach like you.
Well, thank you so much, Oliver. We'll talk to you soon.
You bet. Thanks, Kate.
And that's the commissioner of the XFL, Oliver Luck, right there. And it's fantastic. I think it's awesome, Coach, when we talk about what he's done, what he's been able to do. The old XFL, when this started, a lot of people naysayed, saying, well, we saw the XFL, what happened. It lasted a year. Well, Coach, I think everything is better, from the product itself to the football on the field to the way that it has been portrayed out there now. Everybody that first week was skeptical, and now you see the product. And, Coach, I think you made a good point talking to Oliver there, was the football is getting better offensively, which is what, let's be honest, that's what people want to see is good offense.
Yeah.
The offense is getting so much better.
But, he is just one of the examples of how this has changed so much. You're talking about with Oliver Luck and his background and what he's done. He's I almost hate to say this, somebody's going to take exception, but he is an intellectual. He's a Rhodes Scholar. He's going to bring a great deal of stability, down to earth, feet on the ground, let's get it done the right way type personality and work habit to the league. With Oliver Luck as the commissioner of the league, you were never going to have that phony showbiz type approach that they tried before, and they found out that doesn't work. Football is the key to it, not the shenanigans. So,
absolutely, Coach. It's proven to get better and better over time. And listen, Coach, another great show. We could talk about so much, but we're out of time right here. It's been a pleasure, my friend.
You bet. Look forward to tomorrow.
And remember, Monday and Friday here, we'll have the XFL show for you. You're not going to want to miss it. From predictions, interviews, everything you need XFL, we're here for you. You listen to the XFL show on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours